What's up everyone, Steve here for Ask Steve number 7, and we are on the main recording setup today. I'm going to sit here and chill in my chair. I'm not going to be walking around. We'll use the whiteboard if it's needed, but what happens in these videos is you ask questions in this comment section on this video, and then I'll answer them, Ask Steve number 8, and then so on. And then eventually we'll be at Ask Steve number 1000 and we'll have every question in the world answered. But no, seriously. So you just ask as many questions as you want about anything, Pokemon, life, eBay selling, anything really. Like, I'm here to help. Just use me for the best of your ability. I'm here to be used. I am free of charge, here to be used. Don't quote that. So, you know, the channel's been going crazy lately. No, I've been really loving it. Over the weekend, I just had like 600 items sell on auction. I had like 100 orders to pack on top of that. I think I shipped out maybe 300 packages in total. I don't really know how much it was. It was a crazy weekend. And I had a lot of ideas in my head for videos, and I have a lot of ideas currently. The stuff that I'm like slowly piecing together as I'm getting like a better setup and the ideas get better. I don't want to just put like cheap one-take videos out. I actually want to make good videos that are actually nice to watch and very informative. And my idea is to make kind of like an answer video to every single question that people might be able to have when it comes to buying and selling online and all the eBay stuff and all that kind of stuff. And just, you know, there's some little Pokemon frequently asked questions and stuff like that littered in there. So if you have any ideas for videos, feel free to throw them in, any suggestions, anything you want me to cover. I will do the best thing I possibly can and give my opinion for whatever it's worth to anyone who wants to listen. So let's start this off with Mr. Ponyta. Mr. Ponyta, or Mrs. Ponyta, sorry, whatever you are. You're a Ponyta, I guess you can be, whatever. Oh my god, it's already starting off terrible. Oh. Okay. When you were first getting into buying and selling as a business, how did you prevent yourself from keeping the cards? I buy a lot of cards, I grade them. If I get a 10, I can't sell them because I just want to keep them forever. Now my personal collection has grown hugely, but I feel stagnant financially from wanting to grow a buy-sell business. That's a crazy one. So for me personally, I actually transitioned from like video game consoles and video games to trading cards. I mainly collected video games and I sold them just to be able to buy more. But trading cards was like a purely buying and then selling. There was very little collecting at the start because I was down bad and my life was in the dumps pretty much. I mean, any extra dollar I could get towards buying and selling is I wasn't doing. I was doing terrible financially. So I understand where you're coming from because I did start doing that with video games, but with the cards mainly, it took me like 3 or 4 years just to even justify keeping anything. So hopefully I'm not too lounging in this. I don't want to fall asleep. This is a good one. I think what you're going to try and have to do is understand if you do want to take... I think constantly calling it a business is probably a negative connotation because then you're trying to act exactly how a business does. And a business wants to make money. And I always try my best to to push this agenda across of whatever. I'm always trying to get as many cards as possible. And that's all I've been trying to do since I started. And the reason is that money, it's awesome. It's great. It's the best thing ever, to be honest. Money is amazing. It can help everyone around you financially. It can help yourself financially. You can buy lots of cool stuff. You can do whatever you feel like doing. And money is great. But like the idea with trading cards is to get as many as you possibly can in the strongest IP that you possibly can. Obviously, you want to get some... If you're doing Magic, you want to get as many Magic cards as you want. If you're doing Pokemon, you want to really, really stock on Pokemon if you love it. And that's what I'm trying to push forward to you. I think calling it a business and then like this is my collection and this is my business, it's going to get really convoluted, I guess, if that even is a word. That's probably the biggest word I've ever used in my life, but you're going to get confused currently like you currently are. So my advice is to call it your inventory. Everything, even your collection, is now your inventory. But that doesn't mean it's for sale. It doesn't truly mean that it's for sale. It's an inventory, but it's not for sale. So I have an inventory as well. Everything in my inventory. The Snap Charmander I bought, it's in my inventory because I'm always, you know, I'm always wanting more. I'm a collector at heart, but like, you know, I always want to grow my inventory. And if there's ever a chance that I can sell the Charmander for a greater good and then increase the inventory, then yeah, obviously there is many things here that are so high up on the list that will most likely never be sold. Because I've got thousands and thousands of items that'll go first, but you'll have that. So my advice would be understand that everything you have is an inventory. maybe make, depending on how many items you have. If you have 1,000 items, I would probably make a top 100 list. And those top 100 things, you don't touch them. Just put them to the side. They are non-sellable inventory. They are not for sale. They're all yours. And don't mess with them. Everything that's not on that top 100 list, so this is about 10% of your overall collection / inventory, whatever you want to call it. The top 10%, you want to keep those to the side, don't list them. Everything else, list for sale. And remember, just because this stuff's coming from your heart, it's coming from a collection of stuff that you really love. You tried a lot, you tried a lot to get it. You put a lot of effort into getting this stuff. It doesn't mean you have to put it up for cheap. It doesn't mean you have to be below market price. This is the kind of things when you see on eBay, you see some person has an item at 100, and then another guy has an item at 200, and you're like, why is that guy priced so hard? I mean, that guy, he loves that card, or that person, they really like that item, and they have just priced it a lot higher because they're not willing to let it go because it's part of their collection / inventory. It's a higher value item to them. That's what I recommend you do with a lot of stuff that is impossible to resist keeping, as you mentioned. Because I have the same problem. I mean, I even got cards right in front of me that I would love to keep. I mean, look at this. I got this Arcanine PSA 10, right? I mean, I've sold probably 5 or 6 of these. Every time I sell one, I'm like, man, why did I sell that? That's such a nice card. You know, I got this out like Blaziken level. Like, this is Beat of the Frontier PSA 10. I mean, this stuff is not easy to get. I just finished like listing all this stuff, so that's why it's so handy. I didn't actually have that like ready to go, but I get it. I fully get it. I love that stuff, and there's a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of money goes into like getting these cards and grading them in high grades. Because when you think about it, when you grade a card, how many times you look at it? You go online, I want to buy some stuff. You look at the listing, first time you looked at it, like, oh sweet. Maybe you double check the listing just to make sure it's got like no defects or whatever. And then you get the card in the mail. You first look at it when you unpackage. You're like, hell yeah. You put this in the to be looked at pile. You look at it again to say, okay, is it worth grading? That's 4 times. You do the PSA submission. That's 5 times. Or whatever grading company submission. You send it away. 6 times it comes back. Or maybe you get 6 times you get the grade email. And you check it and you're like, oh my God, I got a 10. Hell yeah. Comes back in the mail. You look at it 7 times. You go to list it on eBay. That's 8 times. And then you sell it and you looked at it 9 times. Look at this. You looked at that card 9 times. So there is an attachment to selling graded cards. And I think a lot of people do truly realize that like the level of love and respect you have to have for some of these items. And I can be sounding like a complete asshole or an idiot right now. Maybe like, oh, he just likes money. He doesn't care about any of this stuff. But like, really, there is a certain, like this is a Beat of the Frontier complete set that I bought. I made a whole video on a complete Diamond and Pearl purchase where it's every single card was in there. And like, I've looked at that card many, many times, and I finally got it back, and I finally got a 10. Obviously, now I have to sell it in the pursuit of buying more inventory and buying more items. So that is my opinion on what you should do. I completely understand you want to keep more. Now, also, if you ever get to the point where you don't really feel like buying more, well, then you don't have to feel like selling more. You don't have to go out of your way to be like, oh, I want to sell, I want to get money, all this other stuff. Because the money is not a goal. The money in your life should come from working in a job. Selling cards should be put towards buying other cards. Until, if you ever get lucky enough, or maybe you hit it big, or you just have some crazy market movements, and then you can turn this into a business if you are as good enough. I still don't like the idea of calling it a business. It is very like a mainstream term. But for me, it is just me building my inventory as long as I can, as much as I can. And yeah, I think I can't really explain anything more than that. But just try to change your mindset, turn it into an inventory, and then maybe have an ever-rotating inventory. Everything's for sale for the right price, but obviously some things we both know that that's not going to happen. Thank you, Mr. Ponytail. Next question is from Zerg. What are your thoughts on buying insurance for parts of your collection? I remember you mentioning a safety deposit box. Are there any other precautions you do to keep collectibles safe? Thank you. This is a really good one. I answered this question before already, and I used the whiteboard for it, so I might use it again now, because I'm just going to be writing on it, and then I'll show you what I'm writing. But I'm going to make a list. Wait, can you even see that? Can the camera see that, like right here? No, maybe I can just use my legs from now on. So, this is a really scuffed setup. I'm really sorry, but I have nowhere else to put this whiteboard. But, so the idea is insurance, right? Insurance. What does that actually mean? realistically thinking, when you mention insurance, I'm thinking of saying you pay an insurance company, hey, we'll pay you this amount. If something happens to my items, you'll pay me out. A lot of the times that is not the case. They won't really do that if like that is going to happen, which really sucks with a lot of insurance companies, especially when it comes around collectibles. A lot of collectibles and things that they insure, that's kind of more about like a retail price that they agree on. I'm only really privy to like Australian insurance, so this is just kind of like the things that I've come into contact with. It's not really as much, might not reflect the world. Maybe in the rest of the world there are better places to get in more insurance, and it does make more sense. But when I think of insurance, I think of ways to mitigate risk down to the lowest decimal, 0.001, where only catastrophic things happen that just are out of anyone's control, not caused by any one mankind. Like, so what I've done, the first one I think is pretty important. I write that there. Can you read that? You can't read that at all. First one says housing. I think housing is super important. Where you live is more important than anything else, because if you store a lot of items in your house, it's not important. Now, I recommend, you know, those kind of like closed, like one-way in sort of, what do they call them? Oh, I forgot the word for them. But it's kind of like a big township where it's just like, there's like one road in to this whole bunch of houses. They all look the same. Like, it's kind of like a cult, but, you know, it's pretty safe. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's probably got security cameras all around. If you know your neighbors and you say, hey, I got security cameras, they point at this stuff. Do you have security cameras? Where do they point? Let's try and work together to try and like make that better. Housing is super important. You can get a townhouse. It's attached to someone else's house. You both like communicate with each other. Also, there's only one way in, one way out. It's pretty small. Lots of, I recommend cameras as well. We'll put cameras down here. Cameras. So, housing. So townhouse, apartments are great for this. I mean, some apartments these days, apartments that I've lived in the past, if you don't have a key to the floor, you can't use the buzzer in the elevator to even get to the floor. You can't even get into the floor through the fire escape because you need a key to go in from the other side. So you're thinking, some of the apartments I've lived in only had 6 people on the same floor. I'm not sure if that's available to you, but that means only 6 people have access to that floor. You know, try to keep in touch with those 6 people, trying to get to know them, maybe exchange numbers. Also, everyone has security cameras. You point a security camera at your front door and any door that can get into the rear. Remember, some people like Batman can jump in through your balcony. That is possible. So housing is really, really important. Try and live in a place that isn't like a suburb or an open area, or maybe even like kind of like a bad neighborhood. It's not very good advice. They don't live in a bad neighborhood because it's not really your choice. But instead of paying for insurance, pay for more rent or more mortgage for another place that's like a better option to live, and you don't pay the insurance on the cards, because you don't want to ever have to use the insurance. So that can be an idea. So cameras can be an idea. Multiple locations. So I'll write that down. Multiple. This is so much weirder, like writing so close. Oh, my writing's terrible. So multiple locations. It's I'm gonna twist this around at the end, and you can screenshot it and have a look at it. So multiple locations is super, super important because, you know, keep your stuff in safety deposit boxes, PSA vault, PWCC vault, golden vault, any vault. Even if it's just like 10, if you have 100 really cool cards in your collection and that's it, 10 cards at PSA vault, 10 cards PWCC vault, 10 cards safety deposit box. A huge firearm safe. You don't want like a crappy little small safe in your house. They don't really work unless it's like a super expensive one that's like made of stainless steel and it's crazy. You want to make sure you get like a big gun safe, stainless steel. It's huge. It can fill multiple things. Lots of air can go in there. So if you don't open it for 1 week or 2 weeks, it doesn't get destroyed by humidity. Humidity is something you really got to worry about with safes. Don't want to put your safe outside of your bedroom door next to your shower. Obviously, that's going to be really bad because lots of humid from your hot showers when you get all hot and steamy at nighttime. So, alright, safe is pretty good, even though that's in the multiple locations. So all those other things. Insurance is important, but making sure that you never even have to resort to the insurance by acting a little bit smartly. I can't remember last time I checked, but I got a spreadsheet and I have like 7 or 8 different locations for a whole bunch of different stuff. It might even be more. And some of these places, it might just be like, you know, family members, hey, can I just store a bunch of this stuff in your closet? You know, it's no one knows what it is. Who knows? Just chuck it in. Try not to be privy about telling people how much stuff you have and where you put it or whatever. Obviously, for me, it's very daunting to go online, finally, after like a lot of years. Show my face, show a lot of stuff in my office, but like, at the end of the day, I can't do this and be a seller online, be super transparent, make like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 deals all the time. I need to put like a face to the name and everything. So that's why I did it for me, but obviously it still is daunting. I have had security risks in the past. People are very weird, people are very selfish, and some people don't realize how bad it might really be when they're being weird and they don't even know they're being weird. So just remember, keep information to a low, be super safe, proactive, prevent things from happening rather than being like reactive, having to use insurance. I hope that helps. And I'm just gonna move this here. So this is her. So housing, multiple locations, cameras, and a safe. So that's what I would recommend. I think insurance should be the last thing. Jeez, keeping your items safe. Did you hear my chair creak? I promise. Maybe I'm gaining some weight. I've eaten a lot of jam donuts lately. Oh man, I can't. Every morning almost I get a jam donut. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die after jam donut intake. Oh my god, that's bad. All right, let's get on to the next one. Yo Soy Pro asks, oh, there's 4 questions here. 4. Wow, let's go. How do you determine which cards to sleeve when you open packs and boxes? Are the foil or even non-foil commons and uncommons worth wasting a penny sleeve on? Okay, it depends what you're up to. I mean, I think you should sleeve every holo rare or better and reverse holo, holo rare, GXV, ultra rare, everything on a modern set. Commons and uncommons, what I usually do when I finish the box opening, I team bag them all together. Use a team bag or a graded card sleeve, and then I'll put them in like a 400 count storage box, nice and safe. You don't want to just chuck them in a box so they can get all the edges all destroyed. I personally wouldn't recommend sleeving up all like the bulk, because that's just a lot of time. I don't think the cost of a penny sleeve is ever really worrying about like using. That's not relevant, but just put it in team bags and chuck it in like a card storage box. That'll be perfectly fine. And obviously if you open like a Heart Gold Soul Silver pack, an EX Era pack, or base set pack, you would just sleeve everything because that would be silly. Check out the cup I'm using. It says Pokemon on it, right? But it used to have a Bulbasaur on the front here, but I put it in the dishwasher. I'm gonna get hiccups now at the water. Oh god. Oyo So Pro asks again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited for PoE 2, Path of Exile 2? That is an action RPG. I'm pretty excited. I love the action RPGs. I played Diablo, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Diablo 4, PoE, every single thing you can think of. And I really like all of them. So I am excited for any game that I can waste time on. Because I'm a huge nerd, and I'm a huge loser, and I'm a huge gamer. And I've spent tens of thousands of hours on games, and I don't know if it's been beneficial. I feel like a lot of my skills when it comes to like buying and selling things, they first came from like playing like RuneScape, really back in the day when I was like 7. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But Yoso Pro again asks, when you do a box opening, what's your filming setup, phone, and a mount? So I used to use like a little, I guess just like a standing phone mount, which would point forward. Eventually I got a phone mount that went up and then this way, and then it was pointing downwards. Now I have a DSLR camera on a camera arm. I have a microphone right here. How can I show it? It's kind of like here. Am I touching it? Can you hear that? Hopefully that doesn't come up badly on the video. But yeah, I got like a Rode mic. I figured I would invest in my setup because my YouTube channel makes roughly around $5 to $10 a day. I know it's crazy. I'm getting paid. And I spent $3,000 on a setup, including cameras, camera arms, a light up there, microphone, a webcam, and just a standing desk that can go up and down. Right now I'm sitting, obviously, but standing desk and a few other things just to make it a little bit of a better setup, because providing quality videos is actually what I'm trying my best to do. I know that wasn't your question, but I answered it like that anyway, so you know, it'll pay off in the long run, I'm sure, and it's a tax deductible anyway. So, and you're so pro. In your opinion, is it better to send Japanese cards to CGC to be graded? Well, they just announced new grading standards, so maybe it might be good. That's like a financial question. I don't really feel comfortable answering that. I'm really sorry, but you know, if you really want to know where I think it's correct to send cards, I think it's best you go to my website and have a look at what cards I have listed, because that would probably answer the question for you. Torsten, what is your opinion about card polishing, restoration, or cleaning? Some people consider polishing cards as altering them, but it seems to be common practice now, especially for vintage cards. Are you at a disadvantage, or if you are not cleaning and polishing cards? For First of all, I think this mainly applies to like really old cards and cards that maybe like a little bit light play, or they've been like stuck in a binder, a little bit of dirt on them. I think there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of like water and just like Q-tip or a little bit of like a microfiber cloth and just rubbing the back of a card, or maybe the front of it has a bit of a stain, a little bit of like dust on it, it's settled. I think when you talk about polishing cards, I think I've seen videos of people like polishing the white part, like the shiny part of the card. That's just going to get picked up by grading eventually. If it doesn't now, it's going to get picked up eventually, and your card's just going to get sent back as altered, or they're just going to do something and just, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're just going to not get graded at all, and that is exceptionally worse. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of like cleaning fingerprints off and wiping the card down whenever I see like a little bit of a gunk on it, but I don't really care too much if other people want to polish their cards. I feel like the amount of time it would take probably wouldn't be worth just like going through more cards and selling them, but to each their own. If they are really changing the cards of how they're supposed to look and really altering them, then it's going to get picked up by grading companies eventually. Kicks in cards. What are your thoughts on buying collections at 70% market price to resell? Is there even room for profit at that rate? Well, that's a pretty easy question to answer. So if you're buying it at 70% and you want to sell at market price, which is theoretically 100% after fees and shipping and all these other things, even if you don't pay for shipping, fees are usually around 15%. Sometimes a little bit lower, sometimes a little bit higher. It depends if you use like sponsored ads and all this other stuff. Talking about eBay. So you buy something at 70, you sell it for 100. After all the fees, you get 85 back. That's a $15 profit. Do you think it's worth 15% profit on those items? Oh, well, that's not 15%. That would be like 17 or 18% profit on the items that you buy at 70%. Does that make sense? Unless you further use those items in trades or something and trading at market price and whatever else you want to do. I think 70% market price for some cards is definitely worth it when you have cards that are more desirable, stuff like Charizard, Pikachu cards, popular Pokemon, popular cards in general, gold stars, shinings, secret rares, alternate arts, all that other kind of stuff. Obviously, that goes for any TCG stuff that's the most popular. It's worth paying closer to market price because you can sell it faster, but just remember fees are a thing. Now, I wouldn't buy like a Poliwrath collection at 70% because it's Poliwrath, right? He sells fast, but he doesn't sell that fast. So you obviously would want to maybe pay a little bit lower because you're going to have to sit on it lower, and maybe the market price is like fluctuates between like 90 to 110 on that certain Poliwrath card. So if you bought it for 70 and you sell it for 90 after fees, you only get like 78 or 79. That's like an $8 profit on like a $70 purchase, and that's the same for 700, and that's the same for 7. It's $80 or it's 80 cents. So it really depends. I think buying things at 70%, if you're lucky enough to get a good item at 70%, you should feel very, very happy to get that. If it's a bad item, then it doesn't sell that often. I think try not to open your arms to something like that. Thank you, Kicks and Cards. Nate G, I have heard you mention different accounts for selling graded and raw cards. How important is this? I have a small store of about 600 items. Hello, Nate G. I think the first thing to address here is 600 items is not a small store. That is actually quite impressive. So congratulations for that. I have 2 eBay accounts because I have a website which sells graded cards. That's an intention. The graded cards from the website all get automatically linked to eBay. And then all my business policies on eBay, like my shipping policy and everything else, is just linked up perfectly for like graded cards. And just like all my descriptions, I can have it all automated to put the same things on every single listing. So I made the decision to sell singles on another account. Now, if I was only selling on eBay, I probably would just have everything on one account. Because the fact that I made a website a long time ago, and I think these days I do kind of regret making that website. But the website was a way to circumvent fees, circumvent like forced import taxes that were just like extremely egregious and unreasonable to some countries, because they would get charged once on eBay and charged again when they received them. I really didn't like it as someone in a country that also has egregious import taxes all the times. That's kind of why I made the website. So it's a way for people, instead of people message me on Instagram, which they always do it, or Facebook, say, hey, can you do this off eBay for cheaper? Or I would just link them to the website, and it's usually just the same price as it would be on eBay, except minus the fees, and that's why I made my website. But I separate the graded cards and the single cards because graded cards are a very large part of my buying and selling, and single cards are a very small part of my buying and selling. And single cards usually have a lot more problems and a lot more effort and a lot more everything that goes in it than selling graded cards. And I don't want 90% of my problems to be in 5% of the items I sell in total dollar figures. So I did want to just separate them entirely. And selling my partner works with a lot. She mainly does the single cards and I mainly do the graded cards. That's also a reason why I separated them. We kind of both have our own thing to work on, our own people to respond to, our own messages, our own feedback to manage, everything like that. Whoa, man, I'm smashing through these questions. It's like I answered them already. It really sucks when you record a whole video and then you go to look at it and you go to rewatch it and no audio works. Let me check. Is this audio going? Oh man, I swear to God, if this audio is not going to be in it, oh, I'm going to be sad. Oh, hope you guys like these videos. Let me know down below. Let me know anything. Put any questions you want. You know, I think we got like 15 questions this time. It was like 50 comments. It's so great to go through and see like, thanks for answering my question, all this other stuff. You know, I really do appreciate it. I mean, I usually like it is 1:02 a.m. at the moment. I usually do these like right at the end of the day. That's why usually when I do them, I look like pure garbage. My voice is all slurred because I'm tired and like I'm trying my best, but like this is kind of like my zoning down time, and I just get to relax a little bit, and I don't mind answering these questions because if it can benefit anyone, it's not just the people who are listening. It's not just the people who are asking the questions who are getting the benefit. It's all the other listeners. There's some people are too, you know, it might be too anxious or might be too scared to ask a question, or maybe they don't even know of a question, which is perfectly fine. But eventually I would implore you to ask a question, even if it is for yourself, if it is for someone else, because that's the whole idea, right? I want to help you, and your intention should be to help someone else, and it should be a flow-on effect. Because someone helped me in the past, I feel like I should help you. Now you should feel like you should help other people, and that person hopefully feels like they should help someone else. That was a little tidbit. So Ludi, do you think adding PSA 10 in a BGS or CGC 9.5 title for more exposure is scummy or smart? Well, I think there is a level where it could be smart, but I don't think you understand why it isn't smart. And I will explain it to you. Do I use the whiteboard for this? I'll try not to. I'll try to explain this in the easiest way I possibly can. So on eBay, when you make a listing, it gets put into the eBay search algorithm. Now, when people search for items and the items pop up, every time an item gets a hit, that's called an impression. So if your card is called Charizard, CGC 9.5, brackets, PSA 10 brackets. Let's just imagine that's your item title. We'll write this down because I'm going to forget what I'm talking about before you even forget what I'm talking about. Oh, here we go. Oh, my back's sore. Look at that. Look at that. That's man mode. All right. So the title is Char C G C. Oh my God, I typed that wrong. 9.5, and then you put PSA 10. So this is your title. Char CGC 9.5 PSA 10. So your title shouldn't really have PSA 10 in it because obviously that's not the intention. So when someone search Charizard PSA 10, you get one impression, right? That's an impression. Everything I'm about to do is impression. Then another person goes PSA 10, PSA 10. Obviously PSA cards are generally more popular than the other grading companies because there's just more of them and people have been collecting them for longer. That's pretty much it. So they get more hits in the search algorithm. That's probably why you want to put PSA 10 in. The problem is every time your CGC card comes up in the listing algorithm or in the listing search page, and every time someone gets an impression, these are all impressions. Some people searching Charizard PSA 10. Also, there are people searching Charizard CGC 9.5, but these is a lot of more people are going to be searching PSA 10s. That's why you want to put it in. Here's what's going to happen. When eventually, you know, you're after the first week or two, your item sort of gets like, eBay's like, okay, this is where that item should sit because it gets this many hits, but not that many people click on it, and this many people kind of want to look for this item and all this other stuff. It kind of finds your item like a niche, kind of like the YouTube search algorithm, I guess, where like after a while, videos will kind of find the little niche and they'll bring them up for people when because they want people to click on the videos, right? Just like eBay wants people to click on the listings to buy the listings because they want people to spend money. The issue is with a listing like this, you're going to get so many impressions because you put the PSA 10 in the title, that eventually, when people actually want to start searching CGC 9.5, you're not going to get anything. Because when people actually search for Charizard CGC 9.5, because of all these empty impressions where no one actually ends up clicking on your listing, because it's a V for view. Can you see that? You can't see that. But maybe you might get a few views, but maybe you don't get so many views because these people aren't actually searching for your Charizard CGC 9.5. They're just looking for a PSA 10. So you don't get that many listing views compared to the amount of impressions that you get given. Over time, when people actually search for your CGC card, you are going to brick the people who actually want to look for it. eBay will go, this person, eBay knows everything about every user. They know this person, when they search, they are a buyer of items. They are a big buyer. They spend a lot of money on our platform. They're searching Charizard CGC 9.5. What are they going to do? What is eBay going to do? They're going to put that buyer who spends a lot of money, they're going to put items in front of them which actually sell and people actually want, so they can incentivize the buyer to actually spend money. They're not going to put your item that says PSA 10 in the title with a whole bunch of impressions and no one's actually ever clicked on it because it's probably just wrong. And that's how they figure out if your item's just listed wrong. So I really hope that does make sense. I'll show this. It doesn't really make sense if I show it, but you know, it's... And eventually also eBay is cracking down on people putting the wrong items and like, I forgot the word. It's like improper listing, something like that. Improper listing requirements or something. I mean, this is what the item specifics for is also to put like extra keywords and stuff like that. But it's like improper listing practices or like bait words or something. And it is a bannable offense, and your items will get removed and your eBay account can get suspended for a number of days. Sorry, and I know that because that happened to me. And it's happened to many people I know because we all thought we're geniuses throwing PSA 10 in title on raw cards, PSA and CGC titles, PSA and BGS titles, CGC and PSA titles, all sorts of stuff. We all thought we're geniuses once upon a time, but that's actually what happens to your item. And you might not notice it on a minimal scale when you only have 50 items, 100 items, but on a mass scale, you will start to notice stuff like that. Just like if you're selling a red shirt and you put blue in the title. It's like, why would you do that? People that search for a blue shirt are going to see your blue red shirt and they're going to be like, why the hell? I should have just said that to start off with. I didn't even need to do the whole drawing. Jesus Christ. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just going to remove everything I just said from the video and put in that part there. Your average player asks, I have a Japanese Lucamine 120 and I want to send it to PSA. It has a 50-50 chance on a 10 and I bought it for 600 USD. My question is, I save money sending it through someone, but if I want them to get it ASAP, it costs me $60, or I can wait until I see them in a month. What would you do? Send it ASAP and increase entry cost, or wait a month? So I think the issue is here. You're expecting... There is no other... You have no other reason to send that at the $60 tier, because you paid $620 US for it. What do you think is going to happen? You paid $620 raw, and you send it in bulk, they're just going to upcharge you. So your only real... your only option is to send it at the higher tier. I don't actually think there is a wait another month variable in this question, personally. If you actually want me to answer the question. And what I would do, because I submit my own cards, I would just send it in bulk. Because I don't really care if they upcharge me, because I don't really feel like paying an extra amount of shipping just for like one card, just to go through like $40 tier by myself or $75 tier by myself. But in your situation, since you're only sending one card, you don't want to do the shipping there, shipping back, all this other stuff, just send it in the fastest submission, because you get it done faster and you won't get the upcharge with the bulk regardless. So yeah. James O asks, how is Diablo? I can't wait to play it. Oh, and great video. Thanks, James. I'm not sure why I added this question in here, but I appreciate it, James. Diablo is pretty good. It's kind of fell off a little bit for me. The story was great. Really enjoyed it. Love the Diablo series, but I think Diablo 2 is probably my favorite for a reason. I don't really like the modern games these days where they just like, I don't know. They just don't really do it for me. I don't know. I find myself going back playing remastered versions and classic versions of games more than anything else these days. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same. Maybe it's because we're boomers or whatever, but am I a boomer? I don't think so. Do you have to have kids to be a boomer? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not very smart. All right. Blue Green asks, For low-valued single cards, why don't you use stamps with a prepaid tracking number? Australia Post has them in boxes of 50. This isn't a question. This is a question for Australian sellers, I guess. I'm pretty sure last time I checked, those stamp boxes are not intended to be used with one stamp and then a tracking number on top. I think you can use them that way, but I don't think that's actually intention. And I think even if you do use them that way, they'll just do it and they won't worry about it the next time. But yeah, I don't actually think that was the right way. Plus, if you send packages, I think you're talking about the registered envelopes, obviously, but I'm pretty sure if you use the registered envelopes or a package, you get like $100, you know, insurance automatically, and you get a whole bunch of other benefits as well. Plus, I think they're just a little bit better, and it's not a big deal if the postal service makes some more money, because this is only literal possible because postal service exists. I'm not really sure that many people understand that we couldn't be able to buy and sell online if postal service didn't exist. So I am super pro postal services because they changed my whole life. I love my postal service. Down the road, I buy them chocolates from time to time. I'm always as nice as I possibly can be to them. I never really demand anything. I'm always just super cordial. And even today, I had an item. It didn't get scanned for 2 weeks. It was like a $50 item. They refunded me $100. No questions asked. They see how much business I do. They're nice to me. I'm nice to them. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good service here in Australia for me. LA butter. What's up? Is it La Butter or LA butter? Los Angeles butter? I wonder if that's like an actual product, Los Angeles butter. Probably delicious. Now I'm hungry. Oh god. Hey Steven, do you ever think we'll ever see a peak like 20 to 21 again? 2020 to 2021 again. Oh, wow, I wish we were still talking about butter, to be honest. Man, I don't know. I think there's, as adults, I think we need to understand, and I'm sure you're an adult because you're online, so you must be an adult. It's pretty easy to kind of wrap all the things together. I need a drink before to answer this question. Give me a sec. Okay. All right, Mr. Butter. Or Miss Butter. Or whatever you want to be. A piece of butter. Do you ever think we'll see a peak like 20 to 2021 again? So the Pokemon market mainly exploded for a few key factors back then, right? Obviously, whatever's happening, COVID, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars being pumped throughout the world for most people that are just working, and they're just like, obviously, younger people are collecting whatever. We just went like crazy. We all got so much free money. We went like crazy, like I just mentioned. That didn't really have anything to do with Pokemon exploding. Right now, Pokemon Japanese cards are exploding, and there's no real like huge outside factor like a natural disaster or a pandemic or free money being pumped in like crazy. Right now, it's a little bit more natural, except for a few cards, obviously. Some cards are going up, and they're going a little bit down. They're going up, they're going down. It's pretty obvious most of these things are going to happen if they do skyrocket randomly, but do I ever think we'll see a Pokemon price peak like we happened in 2021 again? I feel like one is happening in the last month with a lot of Japanese cards, more than English cards had, percentage-wise. Not to the same total value or volume, but man, I don't know. I hope it never happens, because I really hope we don't ever get a global pandemic where we all get stuck inside and millions of people lose their lives and things are just terrible around the world. The industry is closed down. Things still haven't recovered. Price of everything around the world is going like crazy because inflation's nuts. I really hope something like that never happens again. But if you have outside factors removed, will we get another price peak? I'm going to be honest. I don't know. And to be honest, I really don't care, because I don't care about markets. I just buy a card and I just sell it. I don't look at the market. I don't go and research like crazy into markets. I don't get into conversations with people that talk about markets. Anytime anyone asks me a market-related question on Instagram, I'm sure many of you have asked me a market-related question on Instagram, I answer the same thing every time. I don't really care talking about financial things. It doesn't bother me. I will help you greatly with eBay stores and how to like build your value in your collection and how to build an inventory and ways to do it, and you know, little tips and tricks here and there, and how like hard work beats anything else. But talking about the Pokemon financial market is like the most boring trash topic I could ever imagine. I honestly want to cry. There is thousands of Pokemon YouTubers just like going crazy, And you know, I just sit. I don't really click on them that much. I don't have that much time. I'd rather just watch like an entertainment piece instead. But it is just crazy how many 2 cents are being thrown around, and a lot of them don't have nearly as much skin in the game as they might think they do. And yeah, I don't know. I don't like to talk about financial things. It's kind of got dark towards the end there. It's a great question, but probably the wrong person to ask. I'll give you that. But I think Pokemon is extremely popular, Mr. Butter. And, you know, if you've ever been to Japan, I'm sure you'll understand. It is nuts there. There's like... I went to the Pokemon Center. I was in Japan on like Tuesday at like midday. No special release. No nothing. I had to wait outside of the Pokemon Center in line to even get inside the Pokemon Center, where I had to wait an hour. They were sold out of every pack. I just wanted to get like a plush and a t-shirt for my girlfriend, and I waited in line for an hour to get that. And they had no packs in stock. They had no nothing. It was honestly insane. No outside things happening. Out of our peak. There's no peak anymore. There's no bubble anymore. Whatever people want to call it. It is just a genuinely very popular thing. And anything can happen. Catch 'em All Collectibles asks, when live streams? I don't know, to be honest, man. I like doing these at the end of the day at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't think, if I did a live stream, I'd probably fall asleep on live stream. And I really don't want to fall asleep on live stream. I'd rather fall asleep in my bed. But, you know, if that is something that a lot of people want eventually, I can imagine myself doing it. But I'd always feel bad because, you know, the people that watch me are from all around the world. It's like 25% US, 10% Australia, 10% the UK, 5% Japan, 5% other places. It's kind of a big mix. There's no perfect time to go on and just like talk to a bunch of people or even interact with people. I think these type of videos are a great way for me to interact with people who want to ask questions. I can give them in-depth answers, and I can make them... I can make the interaction feel worthwhile. I'm just checking if my microphone's still working. I hope it is. But I can make the interaction feel worthwhile through a video like this, rather than like a live stream where it's just like scroll through the question, answer it, scroll through the next one. But it's not a bad idea, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do it because I like the way my schedule is, and I like doing these at the end of the day. Get out of the shower, record a video, go to sleep. It's pretty fun for me. So thanks, Dan. DrewTube 2012. Have you ever considered quitting / stopping? Why and why didn't you? Dude, that is a hard-hitting question. That's the last one. Have you ever considered quitting / stopping? Why and why didn't you? Oh my god. Okay, let's answer the question the easiest way. Have I ever considered quitting or stopping? No. Why? I really enjoy this. It is like, man, every time I check my phone, my phone around here to be checked. I was going to do a reenactment of checking the phone. You know, every time I go on my phone, you know, whenever it's up, check my notifications, see if I sold something. You know, I'm on the phone. I go, okay, look, that's sold. Or I got an eBay message. Yeah, even this one just popped up here. A Mewtwo EX from Red Flash Full Art. And, you know, I'm like, oh my god. I wouldn't even know where that is. Oh, where is that? It's somewhere around here. I think it's in the boxes. Whatever. Anyway, I get the notification. I was going to show the card off that I sold, but obviously I can't find it in this sudden moment. But you get the notification, you sell something, and you're like, hell yeah. Just like I mentioned earlier, like whenever I sell the graded cards now, the single cards, I did get a feeling that like, oh man, I can't keep this going. Because the single cards, I was probably making equivalent to my last job salary pretty comfortably in like the last 2 years, and I mainly did single cards only before I just started doing only graded, because I just understand the value and the time that you get put into it is greatly magnified. Obviously the cost is so much higher and everything else that comes with it. But when I did the single cards, I did feel the way, like you're asking, I did feel like stopping, because I was like, okay, I'm putting so much effort. I'm putting 14 hours a day into like sorting cards, listing cards, everything. This is just nuts. I could just actually work. But I quit the job to do the single cards because I really wanted to make it work. And, you know, I still do them today, but we don't do nearly as many as we used to. And it's also, honestly, it's a lot easier these days to do single cards because I got my scanner and stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier. But it is, yeah, it takes a long time to build a routine and build a schedule and actually make something that's like successful, that works for you as a person. So a lot of the times I feel like, yeah, I want to get another job. I don't want to like just do Pokemon all the time. But then I feel like every hour I step away from this, I might miss a deal, or maybe I missed an interaction, or maybe someone messages me to buy something and I don't answer it. I get an eBay message, I don't answer it straight away. Maybe I miss 1 day shipping at the post office. Because I do 1 day shipping, I ship every single day, and it's just like, you lose a lot of things if I have to go back to work. I'd rather just like take a pay cut or make less, just so I can increase like the customer service level in what I currently do. And the fact that I really, really, really enjoy it, like it is like a genuinely enjoyable thing. Like I can't explain. Like, I'm sure many people out there do get the fact that when you do get the eBay selling notification, it is one of the best feelings ever. Whether it's $1, because it's success. It's like, hey, it's like affirming that like the thing that you did is the right thing. Can you see my feet? You can't. I'm not touching my feet, I promise. But there was a point at one time in 2019 where I was like, okay, it's ramping up and it's really, really bad. And then early 2020, I did feel like, oh, what am I doing with my life? The world's crashing and I'm sitting here selling trading cards and no one's going to want these anymore after everyone in the world's gone from this pandemic, and it's going to be really bad. And I did have a sense of fear, and then everything started skyrocketing, and then that fear did leave. But yeah, it's hard, man. And then these days, the past 6 months have been absolutely beautiful. It's been more than I could ever imagine. I used to look forward to like doing my work every day, and I still do. I really enjoy it. Every time I get. See, the thing is, I don't complain about like I have to list these cards, I have to do this, or I have to do this. I don't really use those terminologies anymore, because I am in such a lucky position, and it's like I get to list cards. So when I get to list my cards every day, I do look forward to it. But these days, when I get to make my videos because people actually want to watch them, it doesn't matter how many people it is, 555 or maybe even one viewer, it doesn't really bother me at the end of the day. But I get to make videos and I get to help some people out. I mean, just before this video went live, some guy sent me a message on Instagram. He's like, hey Steve, I've watched your YouTube for the past few months. I just got a grading submission back, and a few cards that I had for a long time, I was always too scared to grade them. I just sold them, and now I was able to like buy something in my life that I really, really enjoy. And that is like absolutely nuts, man. Like, I'm sure that person probably would have got there eventually if it wasn't for me, because they would have just got there from being inside the whole poker sphere, and they would have been like in there somewhere. But the YouTube videos is honestly what keeps me going these days. And I hope the YouTube, this is gonna sound really stupid, but I really hope the YouTube never hits that like job level where it's like I'm working 50 hours, 100 hours, 200 hours to make one perfect video, to like not be upset if it's not great, because I really enjoyed it. I enjoy just doing like the one takes, a little bit of editing, a little bit of this, helping people out, answering very basic questions, being a little bit quirky sometimes, doing box openings, stuff like that. It is like a breath of fresh air compared to what I'm used to. And I fully understand why people do YouTube videos now, but I also understand why it leads to a lot of burnout, because the mental stress of like putting the video out and making it likable and hoping people like you, and obviously you get a lot of hater comments and people message like you mishandle the cards wrong, or you're just like a rich idiot, or you're just lucky, and all this other stuff. I get these messages too, and I really don't care. I mean, whatever, say whatever you want. I mean, you can't hate me as much as I hate me. So it is yeah, to answer your question, I haven't ever really truly thought about stopping or quitting, but I have changed reasons over time of why I shouldn't stop. And obviously, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I have been rather successful in the last few years, but it hasn't been a lot of luck. Like, it hasn't been all me. If a card goes up in price, I did nothing. Like, what did I do? I did nothing. A lot of people think they're geniuses when their cards go up in price. It's dumb luck, and it has happened a lot of the times with a lot of the cards, right place, right time. That's just how it is. Maybe it's a smart decision to not sell things sometimes, but it isn't ever really skill if the card just goes up in value and then you just sell it for like tens of thousands of dollars. It's not really, so I have been extremely fortunate the past few years, and I want to keep going because I see the hard work that I put in every day is like starting to benefit people around me in my life, my partner, my family, and stuff like that, and like the benefit that I can give to people online, and my friends and my immediate friends and my residual friends and maybe even people that talk to me once in every while, I can help them out. I mean, this is the last question in the video. It's why I'm kind of like not dragging it out, but I'm just getting a little bit more deep and personal with this, because if you are watching this video and you're 50 minutes in, you have to be, you know, someone who's serious about supporting me, I guess, or serious about watching my content, or maybe you're trying to find every little tidbit that I put in so you can destroy me in a clapback video one day. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you clip and stuff. You gotta be worried sometimes. People are crazy, but yeah, that's pretty much. To answer your question, really, truly, I haven't thought about it too much, but I have changed the reasoning, and it's great. I got like 5 channel memberships. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, but when you set up your YouTube monetization, they require you to set up a whole bunch of things, and one of them is like, it's kind of like a Twitch subscriber, and I just selected like $1. I was like, no one's gonna do this anyway. I think I have 6 channel memberships, and I can't really explain. Like those $6, I don't really know how much I get out of that, to be honest, but like those $6 mean more to me than like $1,000 profit on an item, or $2,000 profit on an item, or whatever. And the 10 or I got like $12. I think last week, what did I do? I did an Ask Steve video that was quite good. It was quite long, or whatever. The long form videos, they make more over time, I guess, because they get a lot of watch hours. And I opened up like a booster case of VMAX Climax and whatever, and that was like $26 over like 2 days. And you know, someone like me, I spend like almost $100,000 every month on Pokemon cards, and you know, those $25, you know, I like, okay, that's like, I just bought myself a meal. So because I made videos helping people out, I'm rewarded, and I get to buy an awesome lunch for myself, even 2 in this case, you know, because when I buy lunch, it usually only costs me like $8. I get a sausage roll, and I get a jam donut, and sometimes I get a can of drink, but usually I just get 2 jam donuts and 1 sausage roll from the local bakery. I'm a very, very easygoing guy, and that cost me like $8. So, you know, that's almost 3 lunches, to be honest, over 2 days, just because I made videos. I was gonna do all those things anyway. I maybe wouldn't have done the Ask Steve video, but for years I've always like tried to answer people's questions and help people out where I can. But like I'm saying, like, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a benefit out of it. The time probably versus what I could do with my time, it probably isn't the same level of value, but like the emotional value and the reason to keep going value is much higher. So yeah, I just want to say thank you, I guess, if you're watching this late, and you might think it's weird or lame or fake or whatever, but I promise you, truly, it's not. It's 1:30 a.m. You know, I think I can. Some person said to me on Instagram, "Is like, is it really that late when you were making those videos?" And does this show? Does that show right there? You can't see it though. My brightness is up too high. There you go. 1:29, Wednesday, 21st of June. I have to go to the doctor's at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I probably should have went to sleep, but that's not a big deal because you guys are more important than my health. No, everything's fine with me. I'm just getting a checkup. I'm almost 30, so I'm getting a global checkup on every single part of my body, making sure I'm still working. It's because now I have a reason to keep going, right? I got you guys. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoy this video. And let me know what you want to know next time. Put the comments in the questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to help you as much as I possibly can. So my name's Steve. I keep looking up because my face is like up. That's why I've been looking up this whole time. I gotta change that next time. But you know, my name's Steve. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.